Hello, everybody. I'm glad you're here today. Today is August 30th, 2024. In this video, I'm going to tell you a story. Okay, going to tell you a story about our town. I'm going to reflect on what happened to me yesterday. In the video, I put up about, it's like warning is the not the footlight, the thumbnail. There we go. Do you ever have that where another word comes to your mind? You're like, I know that's not the right word. Okay, where the thumbnail says warning, I think it says, I don't know. Oh yeah, it can all go up in flames. I'm going to reflect on that video because I saw that horrible wreck. And then other things happened that day within like an 18-hour period of time. And I went over to tell my folks about it. I'm going to tell you about that, tell you what my dad said. And yeah, that's all going to be. Oh yeah, I'm going to tell you just a little town story, something that happened to Tater yesterday, which was like, oh yeah. Oh, and then I have some intel. Oh my goodness, I hope I remember all of this. Y'all, if I don't, then I don't. Well, please, in the comment section below, write down your prayer requests, write down any kind of encouragement to each other. What kind of scriptures are bringing you strength right now? Y'all, whatever you need, put it in the comment section. Whatever you feel like the Lord's, that's your voice. That's y'all's voice, all right? This video thing is my voice, all right? So, okay, first of all, let's go with intel. So this is maybe minor, but it is different, and I'm going to tell you no matter what. Then I invite you to email me if you see anything like this in your area. And Gina Lima Charlie at gmail.com, okay? So this last week, twice, 2 days in a row, actually, an osprey flew over. For the first day, I believe it was Wednesday. It flew over. I did not see it, but my daughter Taylor saw it, flew over our town. Super low, super low. Now, we have not seen an osprey since the spring, or the beginning of the summer. And so here we are at fall. So I found that interesting. The very next day, y'all, I was out doing chicken chores, and I heard it coming. Okay, I heard it. It was coming from, let's see, the east. It was coming east, and it was moving west, kind of southeast, northwest. Went right, literally went, there's my new word. I noticed I said that in that video yesterday a lot. It went all the way across my yard, catty corner. I stood out in the middle. I know if they were looking down, they saw me looking at them. That's how low it was. I could see each propeller blade as it turned. I mean, yeah, so loud. So the difference between that helicopter or whatever that is, that aircraft, versus just a regular like private helicopter or the medevac, I mean, it's just like boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's so low, boom, 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 boom. And then you can hear it so far away, and then it vibrates the air. It's amazing. So anyway, that happened. Then this morning, Taylor calls me. This is Friday. She's out on the road. She's a home health care nurse, so she goes to people's houses. She's out on the road. She calls me, says, Mama, no, you know what I just saw? And I thought, what did you just see? She said, I saw three. She said, first of all, I saw, we'll just say, one semi-truck carrying what looked like huge boxes. They were like there were 12, at least 12 of them stacked on this semi-truck trailer thing. And they were about, I don't know, 10 feet, 8 feet long, 10 to 10 feet long. And then there were 12 of them all stacked up, big boxes, military boxes, had metal. She didn't know what they were, but they were on that semi truck in a convoy with two other vehicles. Oh my goodness. Did she say they were on semi trucks or driving? I think she said they were just driving on the highway. They were actually the Desert Storm camouflage, tan-looking camouflage, two of them, and they look like, and there's a name for them, but they look like they carry fuel, like fuel tanks. They got that big, round-looking, it looks like a milk truck, like around here we have dairies, but I mean, instead, it carries fuel. Once again, unusual. We don't see that, okay? So, what she did so that's three military trucks she saw this morning that were equipment or were carrying equipment. They were actually moving. That's in the Texas Panhandle, y'all. That's where we live. It was actually moving towards the New Mexico border. So they were headed west. All right, which is, now we do have Air Force bases that away. And she said on the phone call, "No, it could be going to the Air Force base." I said, "You know what? We've been here over 30 years. Have you ever seen that? Just going to the Air Force base over there, 30 miles away, 40 miles away." She said, "No." I said, "It doesn't matter where it's going. That's not normal." And see, you get to where your brain starts normalizing stuff where you just go, there it is again. Oh, there it is. That's nothing. And then you get used to seeing it, and then, so that's called a normalcy bias. I did not learn that. I learned that by listening to other people that are prepping. So that I didn't come up with that by studying myself. So anyway, that happened this morning. What's happening in your area? I know some of you are sending me things privately. I appreciate that. Continue to do so. Let me know if it's something I can bring to people publicly. I know that there are people getting deployed, and I know there are people who are deployed that are National Guard across the nation. So that's going on. So that's a real deal, y'all. Okay, so that's happening. Now then, reflecting on yesterday quickly. So in 18 hours, remember, I found out, well, our water main, we had a water main break in our city. And we have a city of 1,800 people. It's a little bitty town. Our water main broke. One of them did. Our police chief got arrested. And then there was this massive accident just like outside my window on the draw. Okay, it was 2 silage trucks. Silage, by the way, is, I didn't know if I should, it's like corn. It's not like corn. It is corn. This particular kind of silage. Corn cut while it's green, and then they put them in silage pits at the feedlots and the dairies to ferment. All right, these silage pits, or sometimes now they put them in these big white rolls that they just blow the silage in there. So it's cut up corn while it's green, and then it ferments, and they use it for feed to the cattle. So there you go. That was free. But anyway, I saw that massive wreck outside my window. Saw the helicopter came, the medevac came, that time landed right in the draw, right in the prairie, right outside my window. And everybody and their dog was out in front of my house, okay, in my town, which was fine. We caught up. Everybody had a little reunion. I was bothered by it all. I was bothered by it all. So, seeing the wreck, I saw it like just literally 2 seconds. I'm the one who called 911, so it was horrible. It went up in smoke. It was horrible. Flames, it was horrible. Anyway, so I went to tell my mom and dad after I'd already recorded. I went over there and said, "Why? Here's what happened. I just didn't want you to hear it from somebody else and say, why didn't I tell you?" So they said, "Well, we knew something was happening down by they live next door to me, okay, but their house isn't facing towards where the wreck was." They said, "We could tell something was going on. We saw a lot of people going, and we didn't know." I thought, who are you and what have you done with my parents? There was a time that y'all would have hopped in your car and went and gone and looked, but y'all don't do that anymore. You're like, y'all just sit there and watch. And if my daddy's watching, that's okay. I don't care, Daddy, this is true. You would sit there and watch Naked and Afraid and play dominoes and do your thing. And anyway, they're happy that way. But I guess they don't need to go run and see what's happening down the road. So there is a day you get to that, I guess, where you're just at peace with everything, even when it looks like the world's falling apart. But as I was talking to my dad, and my mom was there too, he said, "You know what?" He said, "Think about it." He said, "No water, no ambulance, no police chief." Because our ambulance wasn't able to go to this wreck in our town. We had another ambulance from another town went. He said, "Think about it. No water, no ambulance, no protection from the police." And it was so concise and narrowed down. I was like, is this something I need to take note of? I wondered that. And I would ask y'all for your opinion. I know things just happen and life happens, but is this something to go, wow? And even when I was asking God about it, I was like, God, am I supposed to like take note of this? And he was like, and I was like, note of it like it's going to happen. He said, it is happening. It's happening now. So yes, take note of it, daughter. That's what it felt like. So file that away. Put that on the back burner. Let it simmer if you need to. Y'all do what you need to with that information where you live. All right, where you live. Now, here's a fun story. I'll tell you a fun story, and then we're going to read out of the Bible. Because today I had a quiet day. But before I tell you about my quiet day, I'm going to tell you about the new beauty shop. We got a new beauty shop in the town down the road from us. That's 12 miles that way. And it's a country town, y'all. Now, granted, it has some more stuff. It has the clinics there, the little county hospitals there. All right, but believe me, they are still country. All right. So, my daughter Taylor, she's got long hair. She just needed a quarter of an inch, cut off of her hair. And so she's like, usually we go to the bigger town in New Mexico, across from us, that and we pay $50 to get our hair cut. $50. I know it's a lot. It used to not be that much, but I mean, and y'all, why do you think I've been growing mine out? I'm like, I'm not going to be paying $50 no more for that. So she's like, Mama, I made an appointment to this new beauty shop in the little town next to us. Now, y'all, this beauty shop is called The Studio, and they put it in the old dentist office. Okay. So this dentist had been there for decades. Now it's a beauty shop. All right. So listen, the Studio. I was like, what is that? I drove by it. I don't even know what the Studio is. What is the Studio? I don't know. It didn't say anything else but the Studio. You got your Suds and Scissors. Okay. Suds and Scissors across from the park in that town. Suds and Scissors. All right. And I even used to go to the Beauty Box. The Beauty Box is the other way in the other town. I went to the Beauty Box a lot of years. And then, y'all, in our own town, we have the ever-present, never-changing, always been here, Dorothy Cut Your Hair at the Fantasy Salon. The Fantasy. Like, I need a fantasy done with this. I don't care what you do, Dorothy. Work me a fantasy. That's kind of what... I've never been to the Fantasy, but I do know Dorothy, and I do love her very much. But, people be going to the Fantasy Salon forever. All right? And it says on the window. It's in paint. It's like, it's been that way 30 years. Fantasy Salon. All right? Dorothy. Now, she is recent, like she lost her husband. We prayed for him forever. What was his name? Ray. Oh, yeah. Ray Lee. Ray Lee, I think is his name. Yeah. Roy. No, it was Roy. Roy Lee is who he was. Now, y'all, I never saw him because he ran in circles I didn't run with. But Roy Lee, we prayed for him. I'm not sure he didn't have cancer. I don't know. But, sometimes, and I don't mean this in any way to be disrespectful to the dead, but I will say this: sometimes your mileage kills you before your years do. All right. So I think when you live hard, you're going to die early. I think that's kind of what it was with him. But anyway, she cuts hair and has been forever, and which we love her. I love her. She's great. But she doesn't cut my hair. Anyway, so Taylor goes to this new studio. Except, first of all, this woman, she doesn't know, isn't particularly friendly. Second of all, her little 4-year-old, Travis, is running around the shop crazy. All right. So, y'all, I don't care what you say. That's not professional. All right. Then next thing is literally, Taylor tells her, I just want a quarter of an inch. She literally takes her scissors, doesn't wash her hair, doesn't wet her hair. And I mean, I'm just saying that's kind of the treatment we're used to at the beauty shop. I mean, I guess it's the difference between $50 and $30, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, just like snip, 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 done. 10 minutes, that woman made $30. And Taylor's like, I ain't going back there, Mama, because you could have done that. And I said, well, Taylor, I tell you what, I could not have cut it straight. That is the truth. But anyway, it's just a blunt cut. I'm like, look, that's what I did to your hair when you were 8. I think we gone beyond that. But anyway, that's what happens at the studio. Now, I don't know if my mom she was thinking about going there. I was like, Mommy, I don't know if you need to go to the studio or not. I'm going to talk to her about it. Um, so, there you go. That's what we need and what we do for beauty. Now, I do think there's other things happening at the studio, like nails, and then there's something else that I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So, y'all, when you're in a small town, you do not have the luxuries, and we choose it that way, and we like it that way. And I'm fixing to tell you why we like it that way. Hang on. There are some people who are breeds of people, and that in fact, Taylor asked me the other day, she said, and she's not married, and it's okay to I mean, what I'm about to say is not any. She said, Mama, do you think farmers are more attractive? Do you think the men who farm around here, the young men, are more attractive because they're farmers? And I said, I'll tell you what, honey. I said, people who are farmers choose to be farmers. I mean, it's a gamble every year. If you don't like gambling, don't be a farmer. But I said, I'll tell you something I've observed is men who are farmers know what they're about. They know what they're doing. They do it. I mean, you got your Wile E. Coyotes. You got your ones that are kind of out on the fringe, all right, that mess it up. But they don't stick around long because they can't make it work. I mean, you got to make the numbers work. So, I said, they have not been feminized. And I don't mean, I'm not saying everybody's like this in cities, but I said, there's a feminization of men your age. She's 30, generally speaking, across our nation. And I said, people in agriculture, they just haven't bought into that. And so, yeah. Why do you think they have a dating site, farmersonly.com? Even though they're really, I don't even know who's on that, but I don't think it's just farmers, y'all. I don't know. But, I just said, the people, the men who farm choose to be here. And the women who marry farmers want to be here. We're a different breed. Now, I'm not married to a farmer, but my husband has been a farmhand, so we know that life. So it is a quiet life. It has spurts of high tension, and then it has a long winter of rest, okay? We like the quiet. We like the open spaces. We don't want to hear traffic all the time. We don't want to smell the city. Y'all, I've been to New York twice. It smells funny there. It has a smell. I liked it. It was a wonderful place, but it does have a smell. You're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm in New York. That's what what I'm saying. So, yeah, interesting. So today I got up and intentionally, based on my day yesterday, which was very stressed, I did not listen to anything. I decided I'm not going to have any input in these little ears right here. I'm not going to listen to NY Prepper. I'm not going to listen to Canadian Prepper. I'm not going to listen to anybody but God. And so God and I this morning, and all the way up until 1 o'clock, had a lovely time together. I made homemade strawberry shortcakes from the Betty Crocker cookbook. And I chopped up strawberries and put a crap ton of sugar on there so they'll be good and juicy. I made homemade rolls, and I made Texas Roadhouse honey butter. What else did I do? I washed a lot of dishes, but that's okay. I mean, if you're not in a hurry, it doesn't matter. And I just intentionally, and we had this huge storm, a lot of rain last night. So none of the silage trucks, harvest is stopped right now because they can't get out in the fields. Too wet. The roads are too wet. It's too muddy. You'll slip off. It's awful. So it was completely silent. It literally felt like I was the only one on the face of the planet. And I loved it. It was like me and God just chit-chatting away in the kitchen while I was working. I didn't feel rushed. I didn't feel anything. I wasn't planning anything in my brain. I was just enjoying God. And so that brings me to this verse in 1 Thessalonians. You kind of sounds like you have a lisp, doesn't it? 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. And I think we're going to start with verse 8. And if you want to go ahead and read what Paul's talking about above that, you should. But I'm just going to start in verse 8. Therefore, anyone who refuses... Let me start that again. Let me take a drink. Hang on. Here we go. Therefore, anyone who refuses to live by these rules is not disobeying human teaching, but is rejecting God, who gives his Holy Spirit to you. Okay, so Paul's talking about some stuff ahead of you. But I wanted to read that because it's a reminder we have the Holy Spirit and we do not reject what the Holy Spirit teaches us. But we don't need to write to you about the importance of loving each other, for God himself has taught you to love one another. He has. Y'all, some people buy books to learn about God instead of like reading the Bible. Or we have a church near us, and I'm like, that church, I don't know how much, it's like they don't ever read the Bible. And Taylor's like, no, they don't read the Bible. They just read books about the Bible. Make sure you're not doing that. Y'all, just read the Bible, okay? I mean, you can grab and occasionally, but just don't live on that, all right? That's sugar. So here we go. Indeed, you already show your love for all the believers throughout Macedonia. Even so, dear brothers and sisters, we urge you to love them even more. Let love be your highest goal, the best gift you can acquire and give to others. Make it your goal. Oh, here it is, y'all. This is my motto. Make it your goal to live a quiet life, minding your own business and working with your hands, just as we instructed you before. Then people who are not believers will respect the way you live, and you will not need to depend on others. Yay! Does that not affirm this whole prepping and learning skills? Y'all just do your thing. It may look like you're marching to the beat of a different drummer. Yay! Do that. That you will be far more interesting than everybody else who's just going along with the current. Y'all, we're different. Believers in Jesus Christ, we're different. And if your life doesn't look different, I don't know. You gotta square that with God somehow. You gotta answer that. I don't know what's gonna happen. But we're not of this world. So if you're the type of person who likes to be quiet at home in prayer, in worship, that's okay. You don't have to be a mouthpiece out there all the time doing churchy stuff or whatever. Some people do, and let them. Okay, we have to let them do that. Let people be who they are in Christ, whatever post they're at, whatever post the Lord has given them. But this morning, I enjoyed my quiet life to the fullest. I lived in the moment, and that was an intended decision. So I would recommend that if you're getting too much noise up here in between your ears. Stop and be quiet. I'm going to leave that with you. Stay safe, America. This is Gina Lima Charlie. I'm out.